Welcome back, as always, to Stack Your Points. I'm Matt from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel, joined this week by RJ. RJ, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Matt. It probably would help if I plugged in my mic, though.
These things happen.
There we go. Now I sound like a person again.
We do the whole pre-show. We're just like, oh yeah, that didn't happen.
I had my mic sitting in front of me, but after the Thursday Live, I just unplugged it. So it was sitting there, so my brain automatically assumed it was plugged into my computer.
Fair.
Let it ride, Matt. Just let it ride.
Me and my Cadillac. Anyway, we're joined by Lani from the Call Me Lani YouTube channel, also Mr. 80%. Lani, how are you today?
That is me today. And I am doing well, feeling good, looking great, doing well.
For those of you unaware, most of these Easter eggs I'm telling you, go to Lani's channel, join his membership. You'll find out. And we're joined by Lani channel member and co-host Craig. Craig, how are you tonight?
I am I have a new mic, so hopefully people will stop complaining about audio. So that's awesome. But I'm currently not Craig. I'm the re-necromancied corpse of Craig after a long work assignment.
That is fair. And if you still have complaints about Craig's audio, keep them to yourself. He sounds great. Um, as always, and today is just brought to you by Tylenol for so many ways. Yeah, we like to jump into viewer questions, so let's get into those because nothing major happened last week that between last week's podcast recording and this week's podcast recording. No, of course not. We're gonna go to our first question. It comes from Jason, also known as the Letterman. Join the Stack Your Points Discord, stackyourpoints.com. Find your invite there. Jason asks, has there been a credit card change in the last year that has actually helped the average traveler? Everything seems like it is either a bonus for the deeply entrenched or a nerf that hurts normal people at the expense of high spenders. So have we had a credit card change in the last year that has actually helped the average traveler? Craig, I'll throw to you first.
Yeah, no. So one change that I think has actually helped the average traveler, and this is going to be an unpopular hot take opinion, but it is the brain not working, necromancy corpse again. Totally had a brain fart. But it is going to be the United Club card. Again, this is one that I think many people will say, no, that doesn't help the average traveler. But when I say average traveler, well, that kind of depends on what average you're looking at. The price for the United Club has gone up exponentially, both for families and for individuals. And so the fact that even though that card went up to 695, and we will talk about some other formerly 695 cards and some refreshes that happened there. I still think that it's a viable card. I personally do not have that card anymore because I am no longer a heavy, or actually, I don't think I ever actually really got into being a heavy United flyer. But that is a United Explorer card for me right now, and it gives me my free bags. I still think, though, even with the price change, still definitely worth it. And the fact that you can still bring in one guest is just an absolute A1 choice right there. And Lani, correct me, keep me the honest person as the United person. But you can also still bring in your young kids under age of, I think it's 16, and they don't count as a guest. So that's nice. That's not something that happens with AA or Delta. And so I think that's both the maintenance and the changing of that has been a real plus for the average traveler.
To back you up on there, it depends on your entry ticket. So if you had a la carte $59, I want to pay to play entry, it's only aged under the age of 2. So
Yeah.
2 years old minus 1 day will get in for free. If you have one of the memberships, is actually any dependent child up to 21.
Oh, that's
So
fantastic.
they actually changed it up. So 21 minus 1 day.
See, look at that. The Godfather of United backed me up, gave me some extra info, so I'm here for it. I appreciate it.
But you're not wrong. So 16 does get in for free if you have the membership, if you have the paid membership. But it's up to 21 minus 1 day.
Nice.
and they are birthday heavy. And yes, they have your birthday because you bought a plane ticket. They have your birthday. So don't try to lie at the door.
No, usually not a good idea.
Probably not.
Lani is our most frequent traveler now after Craig's recent job change. Has there been a credit card change in the last year that's actually helped the average traveler?
Yeah, I'm going Craig literally stole my answer. I was also going to say the United cards because they actually gain value. Oh, where, like I said, I don't say this too much. If the card wasn't for you before, then it's not for you later. And technically, this is still the same because it's tied to a brand. So if you weren't flying United before, it's still not helping you. But even for myself, I had mentioned like the purple card automatically just so happened after the most recent refresh became valuable to me. Slightly more valuable than my blue card, but that's also because my wife upgraded from her blue card to the black card for the membership purposes. So that way we have a family membership. The reason why I didn't get the black card is because I already have so many credit cards that have lounge access. So if I'm at any airport and I don't get into a United club, I can go to a Chase lounge or a Centurion lounge or a Priority. I ain't got to worry about it. She doesn't have as many cards as me. So I'm like, it's just more beneficial. She went and got the black. But as Craig had mentioned, the boarding, as long as you have at least the blue card, you will not board in anything behind group 2. Period. No matter what seat you buy, you're in group 2, group 1, or pre-boarding. Purple card and black card is pretty much the same way as well, which just makes it easier, makes your travel day a little bit easier. Maybe you don't have to stand in line, maybe you don't have to stand in line as long, but the way I see priority boarding is, I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if it was on with record button on or record button off, but like Craig and I are tall people. We like to put our backpacks, which is frowned upon, in the overhead bin because we need to kick a leg out. We need that extra leg room, if you will. And so by having priority boarding guarantees I'm going to have space to put either my carry-on, if I'm traveling carry-on, my backpack. I'm always traveling with a backpack, period. That is my carry-on. In that overhead bin and take up that space so I can have that extra leg room. And don't forget priority. If you check in, priority baggage check as well, which means when you get to your destination and have to stand at the baggage claim, your bag comes off first. Like all the tagged priority bags come off before the non-tagged bag. So you don't have to stand there as long either. So a lot of benefits in their refresh.
The priority bag, is that unique to United? Because I'm not aware of other airlines having that same thing. Maybe Delta.
I'm not sure if it's unique or not, only because I've never had status with another airline, not in a very long time where it probably mattered. But I'm pretty sure if you're flying, if you are a top tier status member, probably flying like business or first class, they will categorize or label your bag in some sort of way to get it to you faster, but I can't tell. But the other aspect of it is when it comes to the question is, don't forget that these cards weren't meant for the way that we use them. We are a unique set of people. We are not the average card holder. We are not the average consumer. We are squeezing water from a rock out of these things. So we also have to take that into consideration as well.
Matt, to your point, though, AA has something like it. It doesn't function well. It is what it is. I won't belabor a point, but one thing that I do, and this is a shout out to RJ, Delta has the 20-minute, or was it 25-minute rule, where if you don't have your bag within 25 minutes, you get 2,000 Sky Pesos. Also, a good incentive to make sure that even if you don't have priority baggage, that you get your bag on time.
When does that timer start?
As soon as that plane lands.
So when you reach the gate and the seatbelt sign comes off, start a clock, and if I don't have my bags in 25 minutes?
Absolutely.
Oh. I would be
20
setting a timer
minutes.
every time.
Oh, there's a
Every
whole thing on TikTok of people just doing that, and then since they've recorded it, Delta has no choice but to honor it.
And they've upgraded. It's 2,500 bonus miles now.
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
Chad from Chad's Money Minutes has mentioned this a bunch. It is one of his best. Not really. He shouts it from the rooftops when it comes to Delta. He's Delta lets you do this.
There's literally a form. You just have to go, you fill out the form, you put your Sky Miles number in.
Yep. And they'll also have it tracked as well. Like they have an internal timer as well. You fill out the form. Now, it might be something of a practice to just fill out the form regardless. And then maybe it was actually 21 minutes or 20 minutes and 37 seconds. And you filled out the form, they probably have to honor it.
Yeah, I would not fill out the form every time because I'm sure there's a list where they're like, we're never giving you an upgrade. You have done this on the last 56 flights you've been on. So,
Yeah, but 56 times 2,500, if they give
Now I
you
was gonna
the
say
points
that
every single time.
maths.
I'm just
That's
I'm just saying filling it out. If you get off the plane and get your bag in 15 minutes, maybe skip the filling out.
Probably.
Yeah, fair. I just think if you did it every time, like they're not going to give you the points for the 15 minutes. They are going to give you the points for the 21 and 26. But that is a fair point. As for credit card changes in the last year that have actually helped the average traveler, the person flying, let's say, less than 5 times a year, I can't think of a major change that has actively helped that person. But United made their cards better for United flyers, right? It makes sense that if you're going to fly United and you're going to commit to United, or you have a significant interest in United, you live near a hub, you live near a hub, or like most of your flights just end up being United, even in a secondary city. The cards have given you more value. Prior to that, Delta flyers, in whatever frequency of Delta flyers, the last round of Delta cards were a huge help to Delta flyers. So the Delta cards helped Delta flyers. Remains to be seen what American Airlines will do with their new lineup of cards after they bring everything in-house with Citi and inevitably make changes to those cards. I have to assume they're going to follow the Delta and United setup, where they're going to have a no annual fee card, a 150 card, a 350 card, and then either 595 or 695 or something with that Executive World Elite card. So AA will cater those cards to AA flyers in some form or fashion, but AA has made a lot of decent changes to folks who are able to get status with AA and help with Hyatt stays and give them Hyatt status. I don't know how much that follows into average traveler, but average credit card game traveler. And that is a difference than the average traveler, because the average traveler could just be somebody who just pays and then, oh, I've got this mountain of points that I never realized happened. That's what I'm thinking of with average traveler. That person, I can't think of too many positives, but if you are typically flying United and you have started and you've decided to get into United credit cards, United took care of you. In the last year, 18 months, if you flew Delta primarily and you decided to get a Delta credit card, Delta took care of you, especially with the Delta Platinum and the Delta Reserve. And that companion fare goes a long way. And that's before a medallion boost. Alaska has given their flyers some interesting perks, especially with the 3 times point earning on Alaska metal, or with Alaska points with their card on foreign transactions. So that is a huge boost if you like take a couple of flights internationally, or you travel internationally in any form or fashion. Like all of your spending producing 3 times points is unheard of on virtually any other card. Yes, there's 3 times global dining, right? But that doesn't cover your souvenirs. That doesn't cover whatever other incidentals may happen along the trip. Alaska's guaranteeing you those 3 times points. Now, they're Atmos points, not a transferable currency. Theoretically, Alaska did its own sort of transfer currency. It is what it is. So the average less than 5 flights a year person, there hasn't been too many significant positives that I can think of. Road Warriors, I can't think of too many positives over the last year from other credit cards. Like you had Chase change the terms on their rental car agreements, where it went from like $60,000 in guaranteed coverage up to $75,000 in guaranteed coverage. So that's a positive. But then the Sapphire Preferred went from 75 down to 60. That wasn't fantastic. But for those who are average flyers on a particular airline, the airlines took care of folks with their credit card changes in the last year to 18 months. That's pretty easy to say. Hotel credit cards, Hilton made it slightly cheaper to go to a Hilton every quarter. And then they ruined their point valuation. They've ruined their point valuation over the last year. So that's a bit of a seesaw to contend with. Marriott hasn't really changed their credit cards. It feels like there's going to be a change in the Marriott credit cards probably next year or the year after. I think that's been about 5 years since the last round of changes on those cards. God help me to guess what they're going to do between Chase and American Express, because this will probably be the last round of refreshes with the two bank system. I cannot imagine that they're going to keep two banks after the current contract ends. Hyatt hasn't touched their credit cards. Sonesta no longer issued their credit card through Bank of America, pulled their credit card in the last year. Yeah, I think the other thing that might be of interest is folks outside of the credit card game can now gain rewards with Wyndham, soon Southwest, and Spirit with the debit cards that have been issued by those three chains. That's more the average spender, but you're getting 1 point per $2 or 1 point per dollar at with the airline or the hotel in question. So that is not a thing on our side of thinking of things, but for the average spender, I guess earning points and earning miles with your everyday spend is better than not.
You know what, Matt? I need to apologize to you because I just randomly thought, I said, I don't like that height change on American. And then I realized I was spending a ton of money because of business flying with American. And I just did not fall into that category. But for the average traveler, 100% agree with you. I think that was a fantastic change. And it, like, let's be realistic, one high point per dollar spent on AA metal for 90% of people does nothing. And
Yeah.
so I think really great change.
The
So yeah,
fact that
no.
you can rent status for a day. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm only flying like twice this year, but if you can fly with the equivalent of Advantage, what, gold? No, I don't want to say gold, but what's after gold? Platinum? Advantage
Yeah.
Platinum. If I can rent Advantage Platinum for a day, get all the earnings of Platinum for a day, or just feel good about being Platinum for a day, like that can be worth it. Going the other way, if you're a heavy AA flyer, but you haven't stayed at Hyatt's because there's never a Hyatt where you want to be, but you're flying somewhere where there is a Hyatt, you can rent Hyatt status for a day, or you can do like a Hyatt challenge, a status challenge. Or for that vacation, if you're spending 5 days somewhere with a nice Hyatt, you can book that nice Hyatt and have Explore at minimum Explorist, but probably also Globalist as an option to you, depending on your status with AA. Sorry, American
Also,
Airlines.
just confirming, it is 3 years to the date as of the day of recording that the Bonvoy Brilliant was updated. So September 22nd of 2022.
Okay, so if they went 4 years, 2026. If they go 5 years, 2027. So sometime in the next 12 to 24 months, we're probably going to see the Brilliant, the Bevy, the Bountiful, and the Boundless updated in some form or fashion. And the Bold has been updated over time, but nobody cares about the Bold.
Can y'all
And
just not jinx one of my cards again? Like, seriously. Can we just?
Lani, change is inevitable.
We need the Matt
I agree with
Clausen
Lani.
curse wheel for credit cards, the way that Brandon Perna has a curse wheel for football.
What do I do to these things? I put out my wish list, and the company just goes, "You're funny.
I
Go
know,
sit in
but
the
I feel
corner."
like you are the one that can properly do the chaos of a curse wheel more than the other three of us.
That's fair. That's fair. I would hand that curse wheel over to Reddit, but that's just me. The Great Destroyer. So yeah, average traveler, there's been pieces here and there. The debit stuff is interesting. The American Airlines Hyatt partnership changes have been interesting. But like I travel 2 or 3 times a year. I primarily do things on through my bank points. Those folks haven't really gotten a bone in a while. They deserve one. More chase lounges would help.
Just gonna bring that up again.
Oh yeah.
Must be
Yes, I am.
Monday.
I didn't talk about it all weekend on Scuffed Audio on my membership and then brought out a video that dropped today. No, of course not. Why would I ever do that? Man, if you thought the comments are bad in some of my other videos. Anyway, so thanks, Jason, for that. We'll move over to AP and we're going to get into the Platinum and CSR discussions. It's going to be a Platinum and CSR heavy show, folks. So strap in. And if you don't like either of those cards, just stick around because we're awesome. So AP asks, are folks going too far with American Express Platinum Love? The Aura Ring credit is interesting, but without the monthly subscription is less useful. Unless you already intended to get a ring, is it really worth it? Documented issues with Uber One inflating Uber costs gives me pause in adding it at all. What other perks are on the card that sound good on paper, but are either meh or just not worth it and you are bypassing or would bypass? Because 3 of us hold the American Express Platinum. One of us, rather infamously at this point, doesn't. RJ, I will throw to you first on this one.
Good, because you didn't have me answer the last question.
RJ.
It's okay.
Do you want to?
No, it's fine. My answer was going to be contrarian, so it's fine. So for the platinum, here's what I'll say about the platinum. I think there's a couple of things going on. The CSR just had a very bad refresh. And very bad as in like public relations to the card have been bad. Whether you think the actual changes are bad or not is separate, right? Public reaction to that card has not been positive. So you have that. You have the platinum where if you hold it, chances are you either are going to continue to hold it or like it more. There are very few people who held the card before who are not as liking of it or more so. That's part 2. Part 3 is just Amex is good at this, and Chase is not as good as Amex when it comes to marketing and telling a cohesive story. Now, part of that is Amex's bread and butter is just credit cards. Like their bread and butter really is the platinum, the gold, the green, their co-brands. Like that's 90% of their business. I'm not actually saying it's 90% of their business, but from the outside, right? Chase got a lot going on. They have a lot more on the banking side. They have mortgages, they have car loans, they have things that have nothing to do with like consumer side stuff. They've got a lot going on. So their credit card is disproportionately smaller than Amex's credit card division within the overall specs of those companies. So Amex can put their marketing budget towards just this. They don't have to worry about the other stuff. So when Amex does a rollout, Amex does a rollout. They have everything, they have their I's dotted and their T's crossed instead of their T's dotted and their I's crossed. And I think that is part of why this has gone well for Amex is because they took a card that people, if you liked the platinum, you're going to like it more. If you didn't like what happened with the CSR, you're going to look at Amex and go, oh my God, they didn't ruin this card. This is fantastic. They had a couple of things that help. Like Lululemon has a lot of stuff that men, women, and anybody in between can find. Everybody wears socks. So everybody's got at least a couple of options. They have backpacks, they have gloves, they have things that anybody can wear. So you have that option. Yes, they did things like Lululemon, or I'm sorry, they did things like Aura Ring and they did some other things. But if you don't use it, there are enough places for you to find value that it doesn't matter. It doesn't like change if this card is worth it, probably for you. So it becomes this thing of like Amex did it very well. So it's very easy if you like the thing to hype it up even more in context. And I think that's more what we're seeing. And also, a little bit of inside baseball is it's very hard to take, if you're doing a solo YouTube channel, it is very hard to take the disciplined middle ground in a video for your channel to have the kind of growth that a lot of these channels are looking for. It is so much easier as far as algorithm goes, as far as plotting a video goes, as far as just getting on camera and talking to take an extreme position. It is so much easier mentally and emotionally and editing wise to give a rant, to give a glowing review, to make things just great or terrible. It is just easier. And I think that some of it is like people on, forget Reddit for a second. Reddit's going to think everything is great and everything is terrible all at once. But if you go on and just search Amex Platinum and you get a bunch of people talking about it, I'm not saying they're all like lying, but it is much easier to just be like, this is awesome. I love this. Or this is terrible. I hate this. Like, just from a production standpoint. I think that we're seeing sort of several threads come together, but it is a good refresh, in my opinion. And I think it starts there, and then you get the marketing, and then you get the how the internet works, and then you get just how these videos come together, how people on Reddit talk about it. So it's like when a really good song comes out in the summer and then it's everywhere. And they take a song that everybody really liked and then it becomes happy. And you hear it and you get angry because it's just everywhere. And I think that's what we're seeing, especially the people like us that are watching this happen in real time and we're paying attention. Because we all, and the people in our Discord all, get more information on these credit cards, hear it more. I have talked about the Platinum every time I have been on camera for the last 2 weeks. Like, I just have because of lives and because of this show and because of whatever. I have talked about the Platinum off camera several times to people who have no idea I do a podcast. They just know I have credit cards. So it becomes this thing of we are more tuned into it, so we are going to care about it more, so we are going to get tired of it faster. So I think there's a lot going on, AP. I understand what you're saying about like the Aura Ring and about different things. I personally like Uber One because where I am, I have done the math. I do end up saving. I understand if you're a heavy user, maybe it doesn't benefit you, but like Lyft and Uber and all of these companies are gonna inflate their prices. They love dynamic pricing. So you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. That just is what it is. I don't fault Amex for offering it. So that's where I come down on this.
Makes sense. And again, my massive apologies for the
Matt,
slip
if
up.
I really had a point I wanted to make, I would have stopped you.
That's fair. All right. Craig, are folks going too far with the MX Plat Love?
Absolutely. And this comes from a person that loves the Platinum. I think it was a really good refresh. I think that if you were already high on the Amex Platinum stock, this just gave you a further reason to hop on that bandwagon. For me, it again, I was, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, torn between the two luxury trans or high-end transferable currency cards. The ultimate decision maker for me actually wasn't the refresh the way I thought it would be. It was purely just looking at what travel habits were going to be for the next year. I can understand what people see as the extreme allure because I think it like I can't say objectively because objectively would mean that we would have some sense of cohesion in the community, which we don't. But subjectively speaking, I think if you are traveling at least 2 times a year, the Amex Platinum traveling 2 times a year and doing more mid cap to upper high end cap hotels and flights, the Platinum works out, right? And I think that's one thing that others aren't seeing or saying is that we have this mindset of, oh, just get the sub and every card is worth it in the first year for the sub. I don't believe that. I sometimes I will tell you that every card is not worth it for the sub, and that is the card that you don't want or need, but somebody on a Discord on a YouTube video told you, hey, spend your money like this. I think it was Lani or it could have been Chad. I can't remember who, but made a video that said, don't tell me or don't let me tell you how to spend my. Pretty sure it's you, Lani.
That was me.
Yeah. But don't tell me how to spend my money. And I think oftentimes in the credit card kind of community space, we're telling people how to spend our money. And for some of us, we'll get super in detail mathematics, and I love that. Others will tell you, no, just take the trip. And I'll just say the refresh was great for me personally. But when we're looking at it for the average individual or somebody that doesn't necessarily fly Delta or stay at luxury hotels, it's just more of the same. And I think that's the slogan for me right now of the Platinum is that it's just more of the same. The Platinum's worked for me since 2022 and it's going to keep working. But this whole push of it being the most amazing, awe-inspiring change that's ever happened, some of that is people have affiliate links and they want you to click them, which isn't bad. I'm not telling you that's a bad thing. You give your business to the people that you support. But sometimes, hey, be a little objective. It won't hurt anybody. Hurts nobody. Stimulates the economy. It's a joke from Matt, in case anybody was wondering.
That's fair. Lonnie, your thoughts here?
Yeah, I agree with my other two co-hosts that just spoke that there could be some sheep mentality. That's very common, especially in YouTube. Hey, everybody's saying this. And as RJ said, if I want to go against the grain, I'm going to be the oddball out. And why should I put in the time to record a video, edit a video, upload a video, and then nobody wants to watch it because I'm the black sheep, if you will? That's real when it comes to creators because you want the views, especially if you're monetized. That's how you get paid by YouTube. You got to watch. You got to watch to get paid. Anyway, so that's some sheep mentality. But that I think that we're getting at with the Amex love, but the Platinum love, I don't necessarily say is the card itself. It's, as RJ had also mentioned, it's the way the refresh was done. We've just went through a season, a year. I think it started like the refreshes started like in February of 2025. Some cards I do have, some cards that I don't. Excuse me, whatever that just happens to be. And a lot of them have been bad or handled bad, or the value that was provided went down versus up. Like you came completely out of left field and, oh, now we're going to do this, but we're going to take that away. And the thing is, Platinum didn't take anything away. And I think that's just the foundation. So the way it was done, RJ mentioned the marketing. I'm going to talk about the operational logistics side of it. The way that it was done was great. Now, if the card wasn't for you before, this is one of those cards that's probably still not for you, but it could be, because I went into detail about this in my members only video today, but I will not go into super detail because I think I went on for like almost 25, 30 minutes. So I'm not going to do that right now. Not to hold information back, just not going to do that again right now. But you have to think of it from a business standpoint. Once again, the card is not specifically for the individual, it's for a collection of people. And the one thing that Amex wanted and want to engage with and needs is growth. Any card needs growth. That's why they do the refreshes. And I think they knocked it out the park by getting the Gen Zs and millennials on board to be like, this is the card that I want, or this is the card that I'm going to strive for. I even mentioned it as they are going to create realistic Instagram moments. I know that is like an oxymoron that takes math to figure out. But with the mirror finish and the potentially high welcome offer, the credits in which you get, the people that feel like they are special because they hold it, when they actually slap it down and be like, oh, I got dinner tonight because I got $100, someone's going to ask why. And they're also going to be like, yo, where'd you get that card? What card is that? Because it's shiny, right? It's the new shiny thing. But when it comes to the specific credits that they added, this once again goes into the Gen Z and millennial aspect of it. Of, is it getting too much love because they added something that wasn't good for you? No, it has to be the collection of things. Now, granted, not a lot of people, especially in the credit card space, shop at Lululemon. I do. I've been open about that. I've also been open that I shop on the sale rack because Lululemon ain't cheap. I have no shame in my game, but it is super duper comfortable, and you'll probably it makes up probably 90% of my travel day wardrobe. If you catch me at the airport, you're probably I'm wearing something Lululemon, but I probably got it 40, 50, 60% off because they turn stuff around so fast. Even though a pair of sweatpants might cost $150, they change their product so fast that $150 is going to turn to $75 in a couple of weeks. So just buy it on the sale rack. Just wait, just be patient. And then you had mentioned Aura. I actually am an Aura wearer. I got Gen 3, Gen 4s came out a little while ago. This actually fits for me. Yeah, I'm going to be like, oh, sweet. You just made a come up. I'm not going to say you saved me $200. Got paid $695 in my annual fee, but I don't have to pay $400 for my new Aura ring. I've already prepaid some of that, and now I'll come out of pocket $200. Actually, $160 because you can get a $40 from Lululemon as well, just for buying the same thing. So I can stack those discounts because I'm that type of guy. But those are things that get to me. But then I'll flip it around and talk about the Resi credit, because it didn't have a Resi credit before, and now it does. Now it has $100 every 90 days on the card. I've talked about my gold card, and my $100 a year I've thrown down the toilet every single year. I don't live close enough where $50 going to a Resi restaurant is going to actually benefit me. But so many people talk about the Resi credit, and so many people are now excited about it, where that's just flipping the coin over. I'm on the flip side now, where I can be like, oh, you added $400 in Resi. I still got to go out on my way to get to a Resi restaurant. Granted, by combining my platinum and my gold, $150 might be worth a 45-minute drive to a Resi restaurant versus just a $50 discount on a meal. So it does slightly change that as well, where now I'm like, all right, that Resi restaurant almost an hour away is actually like, let's go try it out. Let's go do a date night now, because $150 can probably cover the entire meal. You can add on some accoutrement if you want. You can put lobster on top of your steak. You're not really worried about it at the end of the day. And then the other thing is, RJ had mentioned dynamic pricing, especially around like when you mentioned Uber One. So the Uber One, I think, was a direct stab at the Lyft Chase partnership. Nothing more, nothing less than that. Chase does Lyft Pink free for 2 years, and then you have to pay for it, and then discounts, points, and all that other stuff. I think that was a direct jab at that target consumer and that particular target audience. Now, the dynamic pricing aspect, is it going to cost more? Yes. Uber does have inflated pricing more than Lyft, but when you have Uber One, it helps bring some of that down. Just go book an Uber. It's going to be high. It's going to be high as hell, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter when you do it. It's going to be high as hell. And please don't live in a metro like Chicago or New York or San Fran or LA. You're going to be like, wait a sec, I'm only going 10 miles. Why is this $60? And that's just Uber. 2 a.m. when no one's on the road. It's just cost more. But the thing is, it's not necessarily about dynamic pricing. Pricing just never going to come down. It's just never going to do it. I was actually talking about this with a friend earlier today, where I remember, now I'm going to date myself a little bit because I'm older than I look. But I remember when I was getting my driver's license, like that first year or whatnot, I could fill up an SUV at 86 cents per gallon. Yeah, I'm that old that I remember that. It's never coming back down that way. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is, like, when you think of oil prices today, it fluctuates literally every single hour, every single minute. You can look it up on the internet, just like the stock market. Oil prices can come down. I'm not going to say they've came down. I'm not going to get into politics or anything like that, but they can come down. The problem is that, why do they need to? You've gotten used to paying $3 a gallon at the gas station. So they're going to be like, oh, you're willing to comfortably pay $3, so tomorrow I'm going to charge you $2? No company's going to lose business. You can go into a retail store and t-shirts used to be $20 and now they're $30. Why? Because we gotten used to paying $30. So they're not going to bring those prices down. Those types of things. So Uber, yes, but you got to remember, actually, they're also a great example. Remember when Uber first started? Once again, I'm old and in the tech industry. So yes, I actually do. When you can actually get a ride to the airport for $12, find me that ride now. And so it's just part of the business. Like, we've gotten so used to, or we've normalized the price that we pay as consumers. When we don't want to pay that price, then companies and brands will bring the price down. Once again, the sale rack. But once we normalize, hey, I'm okay with a $40 ride so I can get from one bar to the other, game over. All rides are going to be $40 because you're used to it. We've normalized it. So I say all that, very long answer. I promised I wouldn't go on a rant. I tried to not do 20, 30-minute for you there, Matt. But is this all platinum love? I would say no. I just say, compared to the other refreshes from any other card, I'm not even going to directly compare it to the CSR. They just did it better. They didn't take anything away. They just added on to ways to satisfy their current card holders and at the same time engage new ones.
I just want you to know it took everything in me not to pull a Kevin Hart and go, damn.
Well, you did it anyway.
At what point?
Yes.
No, a Lani filibuster is always welcome, because I filibuster and I don't know how much people like it.
Look, I warned y'all before we record. I was like, y'all gonna open this can of worms up, and I'm probably gonna go on a rant. And you know what? I'm not gonna. I'm here for it. Full rant, but I went off a little. I went deep on that one.
I support it.
Yeah, I'm here for it. So, are folks going too far with the Amex Plat Love? Yes, but I think it's a question of chasing the dopamine for them. Honestly, like, the only other card launch that was like as successful or as well done was the Atmos Summit card, because the Atmos Summit card had that promised 3x on foreign transactions. I don't know that everything else on the Atmos Summit card was like amazing, but it was a solid launch. It was one of the better launches in the last 12 to 24 months. The Amex Platinum card, all American Express had to do, especially when given a 4-month, just like, we're giving you a free 4 months. Here's our hard 20 on the table and what you got. All they had to do was keep everything the same. Like, honestly, if they had just done the $600 FHR and added Uber One, they didn't even have to go to Lululemon. They didn't have to go to Aura. If they just did FHR and kept FHR at one night, we would still be seeing the same hurrah, because the dopamine hit is they didn't mess it up. And do I think folks are going too far with it? I've made my opinions out there and clear. The Aura Ring credit, it's interesting. If you want to get a ring, it pays for the hardware. You don't just have to settle for the ring. You can get multiple accessories over in time. If you need an extra travel charger, you can do that. If you need to buy specific cables, because I'm sure that charger has its own sort of proprietary cable. If you lose that cable, you're your SOL. Oh, it doesn't. It's just a proprietary micro B.
USB-C.
Oh,
Yep.
Oh, it's USB-C. Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
it's USB-C.
All right, good on them for following a standard. Oh wait, it's Finnish, so of course it will follow a standard. Sorry. The Finns make good things, like cell phones that don't break. Sorry, train of thought derailed there. I don't think it's that big a deal. The Aura credit's fine. Like it'll subsidize new hardware when the time comes. It will get you free charging equipment, free accessories, whatever else you may need to do to trigger the credit. It's not going to work for the software, for the subscription, whatever. If you're that worried about the credit and you weren't that interested and you just wanted the free thing, don't get it to start. Like, it is a wellness tracker. It is a commitment. It is not something to get because, ooh, new shiny. So I think it's a good, the Aura Ring's a good product. Like, the subscription is good. Like, you have to continue to pay for development. You have to continue to pay for this software because it's a hardware and software stacked together. If you're not interested in it and you just want the shiny, stay away. Don't do it. Lululemon, $75 a quarter. It's fine. Folks are going to be happy about it, but $150 sweatpants feels criminal to start.
Rack.
Oh yeah, absolutely
No
so,
shame.
especially
Absolutely
when
no shame.
it was like $3 to $5 to produce.
Still no shame.
Yeah,
You
no,
know
no.
what? Not to cut you off, but it's nothing new. And I don't care if anyone comes at me for music. Oh, you're only using it for the sale rack. What are you using your $50 at Saks from on this card? Because most people are like, oh, I bought me some $40 socks just to burn the thing. So why is it
It's a
okay
gift card.
there and not right? Why is it okay over there and not over here? Buy off the
I
sale
bought a
rack. At least
juicer.
exactly. In short, I'm just trying to say, and most people that have a platinum and use the Saks credit, no one's using it for the $300 coat. Is my point. You're finding the cheapest thing you can get is close to $50 without going over the price is right mentality, if you will, to burn it and to just burn it. At least I actually wear.
My juicer was $113. I'll have
Big spender
but
over there.
that viral one does look satisfying as hell to pull
Boom.
down, though.
But I happily ask my two co-hosts that have the platinum, if you're not going to use your Lululemon credit, go get your gift card and ship it over to me. Don't just let it go to waste. Don't let Amex just hold the money. Let somebody use it.
I wear smart wool underwear. If you think I'm not going to wear some Lululemon joggers, you lost your mind.
Yeah,
These nugs require quality.
Their undies aren't that great. Go to Saks or Tommy John instead.
I have some Tommy Johns. I like I got really big thighs, so the smart wool, it fits around my thigh nicely.
This is the moment where RJ is, we went to the left.
Look, I appreciate for our viewership that the Lululemon enthusiast on this podcast is not the woman. I appreciate that for our listeners because you are an incredibly well-dressed man who has great taste in clothing, and I appreciate that about you. I have 9 of the same everything, and I grab indiscriminately. So I appreciate this flip.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the fact that we instantly turned this into Craig's thick thighs and which underwear he prefers on the weekend.
We already got thick boy, so now we've got thick man. I don't know.
Tommy John, please reach out to us at stackyourpoints.com if you want to support the podcast in any sort of monetary way. I would greatly appreciate it.
Yep.
Lululemon, same thing. Anyway, no.
And Saks underwear as well.
For as long as Saks still exists, yes. No, I think I've come to the understanding that like it's just a big dopamine hit of they could have ruined it for us and they didn't. And because they didn't ruin it, that is the cheers and adoration. When we get some time, because infinite curvature of time, or like whatever, as we get more time away from the refresh, There is going to be, hopefully in a year, there is some folks who are going to step back and say, did I really use the credits to my full advantage? Was it really the refresh I thought it was a year ago? Hopefully there are going to be those videos. I would appreciate that there are those videos. My video on it was just, it is too good to stay. But I also invoked Edward Bernays and went on a completely different path than some other folks have. Not because like I proudly don't hold the American Express Platinum card. I've done the math on the current Platinum, on the previous Platinum card. It didn't math for me. I've done the new math. I'm not going to a Resi restaurant once a quarter. I'm not going to side quest my way to go to a Resi restaurant once a quarter. I don't shop at Lululemon. I do not have a body that says I'm allowed to walk into Lululemon yet.
Yeah, you do. They got something for fits you over there.
Okay, maybe. Do I go to Lululemon now? No. Am I going to go out of my way to go to Lululemon after a $300 credit? No. The FHR credit is exactly the same as the edit credit. Like the edit credit's gotten a little bit gameable, so maybe it's worth exploring on the Sapphire Reserve side. Was I really into FHR? Was I really into the $200 credit on FHR? No. Like I've done the math. Maybe if I buy things that I don't want just because it's available to me, I will come out to $1,000. Without that, I was around $700, and on a $895 card, only getting $700 of value, it's not there for me, especially when it's a card that I would only be using for booking flights and booking things through the portal, because the portal is the biggest point earner for me. I'm not big on the credits. I want to earn points to subsidize future travel, and it doesn't do that well enough for me to consider holding on to the card long term. So I come from the place of math. The most conservative estimate I could reasonably give you is maybe $700 for me. And on a $895 card, like there are cards where that's good enough. And if I really prioritize Centurion lounges and really prioritize the global lounge network and really prioritize Amex's primary car insurance that you can pay $50, an additional $50 a year for, I would do that. And I wouldn't worry about the end of what I net out, because I know I'm getting those things. If I'm not prioritizing those things, the platinum doesn't work for me. And it only works to grab the welcome offer and leave.
You also have something different than the three of us, of you have access directly to the city of New York and
Yes.
3 major airports. So your position, and this is not a fault of yours, it's not a fault of ours, it's just geographically you are located in the best place to have the maximum amount of choice.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Like, I am happy for you that you can do that. We are not, we are in various states of the ability to do such a thing.
Yeah.
That was more for the listener than for you. But
yes, absolutely. Yeah. I live in an area, I live in the Hudson Valley. I am not far from JFK. I am not far from LaGuardia. I'm not far from EWR. If I really wanted to be a travel eccentric, I could fly out of Stewart International Airport if I so chose. I could fly out of White Plains Airport if I so chose. I could drive up to Albany and meet up with RJ at Albany. I'd be silly to do that, but I could do that.
I don't know why you would, unless you like super want to go somehow through LaGuardia, but you don't want to get there by transit.
Have you seen traffic on the Whitestone Bridge?
That actually might save you time to drive up to Albany, fly to LaGuardia, and then go to wherever you're going.
Yeah. And if I really wanted to be completely brain dead, I could drive out to Bradley in Hartford. If I really wanted to be dumb, like I've got choices. With that, I have choices not only with the luxury card of my choice, I have choices with how I can use those cards. But Aura's not for me. I have my Apple Watch. That's about it. Lululemon's not for me. Resi's not for me. And everything else that the card was offering were not for me. Like, I'm not going to stand here as like a He-Man Amex Platinum card hater. No, it's just the card doesn't work for me. And the refresh didn't make the card work any better for me. And that's cool. That's a great place to be. Like, it is worth having the discussion of like how the card does and doesn't work for you. That needs to be the number one question when applying for these cards. And don't let us, don't let other YouTube creators, don't let people on Reddit, don't let degenerates on Discord tell you that you need card X when card X does not fit your life. Oh, every card's good for the welcome offer. Yes, but there are only so many welcome offers out there. When you burn through them all, you still need cards to exist. But thanks, AP. We're going to move over to another channel member. All of our questions this week come from channel members, so thank you so much, all guys. Everyone, sorry. Yeah, there are all guys as well. Sorry. Double S, what does Chase need to do with the Sapphire Reserve to be competitive with the Platinum? I will turn to another Sapphire Reserve holder, although for how much longer we don't know. Probably not much. Craig, what does Chase have to do to save this?
I really don't think it's a lot, right? Like I think the bones of the CSR are there, the infrastructure is there. It's just the minute execution, right? Like RJ and I were talking about this on the podcast before. Chase in this scenario is Samsung, right? Like really fantastic hardware. You have everything that you need to be sensational, but you've got a green bubble. And that green bubble is somehow tricked millennials and Gen Zs, or I learned this is a word, zillennials, into thinking that it's not cool enough. For me, I think that some simple changes, just follow the platinum. And grant, you know what? Let me take that back. From a business standpoint, they've probably got contracts in place for their edit that states that they have to have this traffic be there for 2 nights. And for those of you who don't know, Amex is probably paying a pretty penny to keep that at a 1 night clip for these items. And
so much money.
I wouldn't be surprised if that is the mass majority of where they're saying that this is the most expensive reinvestment into the card. I could see that being there. Bring back the 1.5. Or even if you want, make the CSR 2.0 in the portal, just across all travel, right? 2x points boost. But that makes the CSR essentially a 2 point catch-all card for everything you do. And that 4x that you get for flights and hotels becomes 8x in the portal. I think that works. And then bring back general travel. I want to put out there, yes, if you live in New York or LA, also, I'm so sorry that you keep seeing me look over my shoulder as though there was a ghost. We just put new hardwood floors in and they are settling and it's creaking and it's creepy. But just make it 4x general travel. Yeah, like I think in some cases people are blowing it a little out of proportion where they're saying, oh, the loss of the 3x travel is the end of the world. Like, how much are you genuinely spending? Now, if it's on cruises, like I know Lani is probably the most seasoned sailor out of all of us, but I'm not a huge cruise person. I've been on some cruises. I'm not a cruiser. But if that's your use case, 100% see why that is a humongous loss. But for people saying for travel, for transit and parking garages, how much are you actually spending on travel, transit, parking garages? Getting a Wells Fargo autograph or a green card, call it a day. But yeah, I think putting that general travel at 4x, dining at 4x, 2x in the portal, just being realistic, I think that those are some items that are fixable. Now, I'm not entirely certain what the full press of cost is going to be on that 2x in the portal. I'm not certain how that maths out, but you're also the biggest bank in the country. You could stand to do it. Now, granted, I realize all that money is not theirs. That is money under asset, but you're the biggest bank in the country. You can do it. And then the last thing, and I think this will come as no surprise to Matt, buy the club. I will not be elaborating on that. Buy the club.
1000% agree. By the club. Now, Discord member did approach me on the side about it because it does sound like there could be there's some reasons why that's not viable. You, the biggest bank, go spend some money. Go spend some money. Go spend a lot of money. Because money will fix this. Lani, what's Chase got to do to fix this?
I don't really think it's broken, to be completely honest. So I'm also going to say not much, but I will provide an answer of what they could be doing better. And what I mean by being doing better is, first off, is not that they don't have to be competitive with the Platinum. It's okay to be two separate cards, two completely separate cards that are doing two completely separate things. That's completely fine. And I think they should actually take that route. That's the original stance that they had. The Platinum and the CSR were never apples to apples. They're still not apples to apples, and I don't think they should be apples to apples. But if you want to be competitive, if you want to fight for that audience that can only get one, is only looking to get one, if you will, they need to lean into their bonus categories. Once again, that's one of the things they did negatively. They changed their bonus categories in a way that wasn't so great, if you will. It took some of that value away, I will say. Now, they added value in other places, and hopefully that balanced it out, depending on if you're a card holder or not. Jury's still out in my wallet on there because I haven't gotten to experience the new benefits yet. It's not October 26th. But anyway, bonus categories, the travel portal, like Craig had mentioned, they could enhance that. That is the one coup de grace that no other card could or wanted to touch. And I know there's enough people out there not paying their bills on time, paying for our points where they can afford, as Craig said, just make it 2.0 across the board. Or at least bring the 1.5 back before October 26th. You know what? April Fools, we're bringing the 1.5 back minimum. That's all it really takes. And that will provide the differentiation enough for, once again, that group of people that wants a high annual fee travel card to be like, I'm going to go that way or I'm going to go this way. And I think that's enough. And if it really comes down to it, the by far crazy, stupid things that people actually care about, make a better design card. I think we're going to talk about mirror finish. I ordered mine, so it is what it is. But I think people are going to talk about mirror finish more than they're going to talk about the Amex and the Platinum and what it does for you in the credits. It'll be like, that's going to be the conversation starter. Nobody cares that you got some credit for something as much as, yo, you got to throw down that cool looking card. I think that's going to, you know what? Chase just never had that. They don't have a cool looking card. Even the Apple card, looks cool. People are like, hey, I want to go get it because it looks cool. Literally, RJ, keep me honest here. People will say, I went and got it because it looked cool. Don't know what the card does, but it looked cool. Sounds dumb, but that's the world we live in at the same time. So they don't need to do a lot, in my personal opinion. But it's the little things that matter.
No, I can definitely agree with that. RJ, what do you think GS needs to do to be competitive?
I think they need to stop touching things for a little while. They need to stop making people think about what is lost and build a narrative. And every time they backtrack, every time they do the sort of kowtow of, oh, we're gonna change it, guys. I'm sorry, we were wrong. You changed it. People hate it. I get it, but you gotta stop. You gotta stop touching it for a minute. We just need just stop. Give people time until the 26th. Give them a couple of weeks after that, and then in 2026, if you're gonna make changes, make them then. Make them decisively. Go forward. But what they're doing right now is showing just such a lack of conviction and belief in their own product that I don't know if you're a non one of us, right? If you're not in the Stack Your Points Discord, shout out stackyourpoints.com, get all of our information, join the Discord. If you're not in there, right? If you're just like if you're the people that text me that I work with or the people that text Lani or Craig or Matt and hey, I heard that a thing happened. What happened? Or I have a friend who has a platinum and she's like, hey, we need to talk because I have questions, right? If you're one of those people who might have this card and all you're reading is they're changing it again because people are mad, you might not be mad. You might have saw the changes and be like, okay, whatever. Like, I'll figure it out. But now you're mad because they're keep changing things because people are mad. Like, they have to just decide what they want it to be, stick with it, give it actual time, and then go forward. So I think we need to see what exactly is going to fall out before they make any more changes. Because I think they're shooting themselves in the foot by constantly doing small revisions. Because none of the revisions are, we're going to put 3x back, we're going to put the 1.5 times. If it was a major thing, fine. But there are these tiny little tweaks that just keep it cycled in the news or keep it cycled with the credit card community. They've got to stop. Just stop. Put the pencil down, step away from the paper. You've already turned it in and you got a C minus. Just relax. Give it some time. See how people actually feel after the 26th. Because the more you change it between now and then, especially the small tweaks, are not helping you. They're bringing your grade down. They're making people think about it. That's what I got.
That's fair. I will push the changes that they announced on Platinum Day, because we'll just call it Platinum Day for now. The extra 250 credit with the selected partners in the travel portal and changing the edit credit from semi-annual to you just have $500 on 4 nights. I think were good changes. I like that they were at least flexible enough to do that. Now, yes, it is going to bring up the negatives in the news cycle of they're only doing this because of how bad things probably are, and things probably are bad with their sign-up numbers. That's absolutely it has to be the case. That is the case. There's no other way to explain it than they know it's bad. They saw what Amex finally did, and it was even worse for them than they anticipated.
And
So,
I get it,
They
right?
did
Like
give them a 4 month head start. That's on them.
yeah, oh, absolutely. It's 1000% on them.
Amex showed you how it's done. Like, card updates. Literally, I had by 12:30, my app had updated. I could see all of the credits. I could sign up for the Lululemon credit. And within 24 hours, I had everything good to go, was all set, didn't have a problem. So the
Yeah.
fact that we're in this place where just things are not properly showing because they've put in this ramp, like, you got to own it. You made the decision to change the card in this way. You have to own it. And all of
Yeah.
these micro tweaks are it's the kid who broke the vase who just glued it, and every day they try to glue another piece in to fix the crack that they don't think mom and dad see.
Yeah. So, what does Chase need to do with the CSR to be competitive with the Platinum? Number one, in the future, don't fucking do this again. If you're going to make the changes, make them instantaneous for new users and do, I don't know, not a 4-month cycle to wait. If your IT is that bad, don't launch the damn product. Don't do it. Don't do that. That was a bad thing. That was stupid. Now, other places where Chase can do things. Chase has, this is going to sound sacrimonious to RJ, but Chase has a more complete ecosystem. It's not a greatly functioning ecosystem, but a more complete ecosystem with the freedom cards and now the ability with no more one sapphire rule to put together a nice ecosystem of cards. And we haven't seen the rest of the ecosystem updated or changed in any meaningful way to reflect, to offset or complement the bad changes that happened to the Sapphire Reserve. I think there's a refresh to the Sapphire Preferred where it's going to get the 3x travel, and now you need the Sapphire Preferred and the Sapphire Reserve because Chase is fine with you adding more cards to an extent. where they want those cards to be complimentary and they want people to hold both of those cards. Why? Because now $900 in annual fees between the two cards, and they will find ways to give you the value back. I don't know if it's going to work. That value is going to work for everyone, and I think there's better ways to give value than what Chase came up with because it was stupid, and they let DoorDash bend them over a table for no good reason. But I do think that Chase has some areas to make some tweaks. Now they could tweak the CSR itself. They could introduce whatever changes may be happening in the rest of the stack between the Sapphire Preferred and the Freedom cards. They have the ability to. What's interesting to me is I think that there's also a case where Chase has in case of emergency break glass, and that in case of emergency break glass is do the two big, like fire the two big cannons back, and like you get your 3x travel, you get your 1.5 floor minimum in the travel portal, and sometimes you'll go up to 2 with boost where boost is available. I think those, like, they're holding they could potentially. It's stupid to say that they're holding these in reserve, like it's some sort of like Napoleonic battle, and Napoleon's waiting to use his cavalry at the last possible minute because he's discharged the artillery. But it feels like there's a reservation and like holding back where Chase can give Amex 4 months. If I was like pure conspiracy theorist on this, they gave Amex 4 months as a trap, and I'm using this in air quotes to our audio listeners because I don't necessarily believe this, but hey, let's put on the tinfoil for a minute. They set up this trap. Amex responded with the hubristic, what Chase would describe as hubristic response of, oh, we kept everything on the card. We made our credits bigger. We added Lululemon. We added Aura to get more Gen Z millennials, older millennials on board with the changes that we made. We didn't make big changes. We didn't change the DNA of the card. The card is what it is, but better. And now we can come back, and those things we took away, we're giving them back to you. That is not at all the way I think Chase is operating, but Chase weirdly does have the ability to do that if signups aren't going the way that they thought that they would. We've already seen the welcome offer from 100 plus the $500 travel credit that expired, and I think Chase was like, okay, now we can go back down to like 80. Oh, we're not hitting the signups we need to hit. Then they made it 125 straight. If they still can't hit the signups that they need to hit, now they changed the edit credit immediately to take effect on January 1st, so that doesn't bone the folks who already had signed up for the card. So that made a certain amount of sense. I don't know if the rest of the stack of cards needs to be updated to complement the CSR, or if Chase can just bite the bullet and bring back either the 3x general travel, which I don't necessarily think they need to do, but it would go a long way to fixing things, or bring back the 1.5 minimum, or Craig and Lani mentioned earlier, make 2x the new 1.5. Like, just eat it. Chase fundamentally at the end of the day just needs to keep the CSR as a loss leader. As a loss leader, like, it was doing fine. Yeah, they lost money, but Damien Diamond at the time that like it was determined how much money they were losing was like, good. I hope we had lost more money to get more customers in, because then you're cross-selling across the board, where again, credit cards aren't necessarily the be-all end-all and raison d'etre of, we're using a lot of French tonight, the raison d'etre of Chase. It is bring in folks with credit cards, but let me cross-sell you a mortgage. Let me get you an auto loan. Let me get you into Chase Private Client. Have you considered JP Morgan Wealth Services? Have you considered these other things where Amex will bring you in as a card member, and we got a HISA, we got a business checking account, we got a personal checking account, we got personal loans. That's it, man. Do you want 300,000 MR points for, I don't know, $80? Because we could do that. Like, they're fundamentally different banks, and the cards are fundamentally different. But Chase is trying to be at that premium level, and they don't have the public relations team or the marketing team in place to get there. It was bad marketing. It was really bad marketing. They didn't deliver dopamine. They didn't deliver any sort of emotional appeal. And I feel weird saying they didn't deliver any emotional appeal, but like all of the emotions on the changes have been negative. They've just been not good. Panned on social media, panned on Reddit, the great destroyer of all things credit card, panned in the across the blogs, like the travel blogs and the points guy were not overly impressed with the changes that happened to the Sapphire Reserve. They were like, yes, they're aiming for a different clientele, and we don't know if they hit the mark, and time will tell if they did. And the announcements were made in June. It is September. We're only one quarter in. We're already seeing that they're not hitting the mark. But it is more fixable than if Amex had. I think Chase is in a better position to fix the CSR than if Amex had screwed up the Platinum refresh. I think I can safely get away with that one. And the lack of immediate, no, you're wrong, kind of gives me hope there. Thanks. So thanks, Double. Following up, we've got JC asking a pretty pertinent question on this one. If Chase were to walk back one of the CSR earning changes without touching the new features, which would you pick? Bring back 3x on general travel while keeping 4x on direct flights and hotels, or bring back the 1.5 UR redemptions in the Chase travel portal while still keeping the points boost? I will go to the resident non-CSR holder first. RJ, which do you think they should do?
So, as somebody outside of the CSR, if I were to pick up the CSR, which one would entice me more is how I'm going to answer this.
Yes,
Right?
please.
Like, if I'm looking at this and they did one or the other, which one would make me the most, I think it's the general travel. Because if I'm gonna use a portal for at least 2/3 of the year, it's gonna be the Delta portal to get MQDs. So for me, just general portaling is not going to drive me anywhere. I'll be using the FHR credit on my Platinum because it feels silly not to, but it's not my first choice. But if I had 3x general travel, that means I don't necessarily need the green that I just repicked up. Like, I'm still going to keep it because that's my comfort card. But I wouldn't necessarily need it, right? It gives me that ability to just use it as a travel card, as the main travel card or even the only travel card, right? Like I wouldn't necessarily if I do upgrade to the Aspire, I wouldn't necessarily need their 7X. So now it becomes this thing where I can just use the CSR. So for me, the easiest selling point to bring me over to it or to get me to upgrade an existing card to it is to put the general travel back. Absolutely.
Makes sense. Oh, and the other, going back to Double Double's question before I go to Lani, and I'm sorry, RJ, for the edit on this one. Chase in the travel portal, all hotels earn status, regardless of what chain. All hotels earn status.
Which is fantastic and really good. I still like direct booking because I don't go Karen. I don't support that, but if I have a problem, I want to be able to talk directly to the hotel instead of having to call somebody else.
No, that's completely fair. I get it. Lani, bring back 3x general travel while keeping 4x on direct flights and hotels, or bring back the 1.5 UR redemption while keeping point boost.
I want to take the latter, the 1.5 UR redemptions and the points boost. The general travel, yes, as Craig had mentioned earlier, like how many parking garages and parking meters and things like that are you actually using? Now, granted, if you're in New York and you're taking the subway multiple times a day or metro, something like that, sure. But not all of us are on the island of Manhattan. Like I said, I actually loved it because of that, but I also live in a place where every time unless you park your car in your own garage, you got to pay. So that's where I live right now. So for me, I'm not going to say I'm missing out, but I'm missing out. It actually made me start walking and riding my bike a little bit more because it was getting expensive out there. Just parking the car. But the thing is why also not the first one is don't forget that you could just use a Chase Travel portal and buy outright and you would get the 4X, 5X, 7X, 8X, 10X at one point. Anyway, so the first one, the former, I'm not losing anything, but the latter, I am technically losing something or I'm gaining something back, if you will. So yeah, but let's go with the latter. I like the points boost. I've taken advantage of it multiple times at this point. I have no problem with it. Have not used points boost with edit in any way. We'll see what happens, how those work, combined, stack. Can I use the credit, whatever. But the 1.5 is one of the selling features of what made me want to get the card in the first place because it guaranteed I was always going to get more value for my points. Straight up.
Yep.
Full, don't pass go, don't collect $200. You just go straight to Reading Railroad on that one. So yeah, bring that back.
Do not disagree. Craig, your thoughts here?
So similar to Lani, I'm of the mindset, give me more value. Yes, I love earning more points, but earning points means I have to spend more money, and I'd like to save more money if possible. So give me more on what I can. I think that the 1.5 in the portal would be my particular choice. I've looked through the edit and some of those points boost opportunities in the Chase portal already. It appears to just mostly be United flights and super high-end hotels, so neither of which are extremely helpful for me right now. And I'll say this, if we're talking about the average everyday traveler, 1.5 is a better usage of their time than adding travel back in. Again, if you are a person that takes cruises, wholeheartedly understand that. We booked a Disney cruise one time, and I didn't realize how expensive Disney cruises were going to be, which I should have known. It's Disney World on the water. And yeah, but if not, again, if you're in New York and you're paying for parking, 2 hours could be $50. I get that. But I I tend to believe that in most cases, multipliers are a feel-good stat, not necessarily one that move the needle, unless it's something that's 10x, right? If RJ could get 10x delta by I can't think of anything, shopping at Aero Pack for her backpacks, she would have more backpacks in this world and delta points than anyone would know what to do with.
I don't need more of a reason to feed my backpack addiction, sir. I need less of a reason to feed my backpack addiction.
Now, just imagine Delta's shopping portals right there and 25x only on orders above $200.
I think I'm getting hives because my wallet, my wallet hurts.
No, it's
Them
hey,
QDs?
it's Matthew McConaughey from Intergalactic or Interstellar. No, please. But that's it for me.
That's fair. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Bring back the 1.5 floor plus the points boost. I'm going to agree with Lani and Kid. Here's the thing 3x on general travel. We still don't know what the rest of the stack looks like, but you know what people spend a lot more money on than general travel that Chase just ignores because, I don't know, they're the biggest bank in America and they don't need to pay attention to these things. Get a damn gas and grocery category permanent somewhere on your cards. People spend way more money on gas and groceries than they do on parking. And I'm somebody who loves the 3x general travel that they have. And yes, I'm also somebody who has the Wells Fargo autograph because so I can just snicker and be like, I have a backup card for this. But there's going to be a Sapphire preferred refresh. I think the general travel is going to work on that card, is going to be on that card going forward. Find a gas and grocery multiplier somewhere for the love of God, please. Find a gas and grocery multiplier, and I'm fine with the 1.5 because that just makes everything better.
4x unlimited UR for groceries. Oh, Chase, I am there.
There's
Just know I
room.
will. You will be my
There's
new favorite thing in my wallet.
They would see
Yeah,
you
you
and
can't
say,
really
"No, we're going to
refute
put a
that.
$15,000 cap on it. We're not even going to get you to the 25,000 for Amex. We're going to put a $15,000 cap on it."
Lame.
You know what? Chase, try to come up with an Amex Gold competitor. Please show me what you can do with that. 350 plus, somewhere between your new Sapphire Reserve and the Sapphire Preferred. You got space. Do something. But thanks, JC, for that. We appreciate everybody's questions. Please feel free to drop questions in the places you can drop questions, which is stackpoints.com. Go to the Discord. All right. With that, any final thoughts across the board? All right. Would you like to highlight our new and diamond members? As always, our diamond members are Rex Bleen, Mitch 528, Keith, AP, Double Animal Fries. Sorry, I'm doing this off the top of my head. And Rupert Pond. Sorry, Rupert. Our new silver members are Mark Silvis, John R., fantastic content creator. Go check out his stuff. And Josh Giebel. So thanks everybody for your new memberships. To join the membership, check out stackerpoints.com. That is where you can find all things with the four of us and our Discord. We greatly appreciate that. You can become a channel member at any time on the webpage and through at the YouTube channel or through stackerpoints.com. Check that out. We appreciate you guys for watching. We will see you next week.